Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and back to another video. So the craziness continues, guys. It continues. As you saw from the title of this video, no, this is not clickbait. This is all real, sadly. So this morning I was scrolling through Instagram and I came across a video, which I'm not sure if it's a official Donald Trump ad or if this is just something that somebody put and pasted Donald Trump's name on it at the end. I don't know. But the video is probably one of the most disturbing videos that I've ever seen. And it literally made me want to vomit. Like, I was just disgusted at what I saw. So rather than me explaining what I saw, how about we watch this video together and then I will share my thoughts with this quick reaction.
What are your pronouns?
She and they. I am 6 years old.
6.
And I do drag.
Asa is a baby drag queen.
Oh my
This is
god.
where all of my dresses go.
He performs at drag shows as
6.
He started doing this 4, 5, now 6 years old. He is by far the youngest performer we've seen.
there's even adult performers that sometimes you can outperform. He fell in love with it. No turning back. Now we almost have one performance a month that Lulu gets to do. You want to practice?
I really like drag and they don't want to stop.
A Kamala sign.
Living in the moment and what's exciting for right now. And I think wherever that takes us is where we go.
A Tim Walz rally. Yeah. I mean, I watched that this morning and I literally was like, this can't be real. Like, this is insanity. This is just beyond disgusting. Let's talk about the fact that this is a little boy who I guarantee you in, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years is going to come out as trans. I guarantee you. And we wonder why. This is a little child, a little boy, a 6-year-old boy who decided that he wanted to be a drag queen. Now, gee, I wonder where he even learned the term drag queen. Could it be from his woke liberal parents? I wonder. Because there's no way that a kid of that age who has no understanding of culture is going to say, I want to be a drag queen, unless he was already exposed to the drag queen lifestyle, i.e. via TV or via LGBTQ parades. I don't know, ask the parents. But clearly this kid was exposed to something that he should not have been exposed to and said, I want to do that. And his parents said, well, what's the harm in that? Okay, go perform for men. Because majority of the viewers who watch drag shows are adults, adult women and adult men. So this 6-year-old child is being paraded on stage in dresses and makeup and performing provocatively for adults. And Democrats are like, what's the problem? Lord have mercy. And we can't sit here and say that there isn't a correlation between this, what his parents are doing, and the Kamala Harris Waltz ticket, because Tim Walz, in case you don't know, is an advocate for children transitioning as young as 10 years old. He's an advocate for trans kids to be put on puberty blockers and to go through gender-affirming care, which could include anything from medication that medically castrates children or even surgery. It's just sickening to me. And the fact that in that video you see that little boy, that innocent little boy, holding up a Kamala Harris Tim Walz sign at a Tim Walz rally. If we want to save children and we want to save the future, we have got to wake up and call this out for what it is. This, in my opinion, is child abuse. You are parading a child, a baby, a kid, someone who is only 6 years old. You're parading him as a political pawn to say, look how woke we are. Look how woke my child is. He's going to be a drag queen when he gets older. Except he's already one now as a child. And who are his biggest supporters in politics? Tim Walz. Of course, the same guy who wrote a bill to have tampons available to boys in school bathrooms. That guy. It's no wonder the parents are like, that's our man. I'm just sick to my stomach. I really am. You know, and honestly, I was somebody who used to say, oh, I don't have a problem with RuPaul's Drag Race. It's a show that's for adults. It's for adult entertainment, and there's no problem with it. But seeing stuff like this has really changed my mind, even on that show, because I can't even watch that show anymore because I know what it supports and I know what it represents and I know the type of influence it's going to have on little children who should not be watching that show, like that 6-year-old. So in good conscience, I can't even support that show anymore. anymore. I just can't. If you support children being indoctrinated in that type of life, something is wrong with you. Okay, you are borderline schizo. You are insane. You are somebody who does not care about the security and the safety of children. You just don't. You know, if the adults would just keep adult entertainment for the adults, I would have no problem with it, because I'm not somebody who wants to control what adults do. Do what you're going to do. As long as you're not harming children, as long as you're not harming other people, as long as it's between consenting adults, it's not my business. Do what you want to do. Whether I agree with it or not is not really of anybody's concern, because you guys are adults. But when you start adding children in the mix, and you start having children go to these shows, and you start having children be the entertainers of these shows for grown people, something is wrong with you. As a parent, something is wrong with you. And as a viewer, something is wrong with you. If you're sitting in the audience and you're watching a 6-year-old child come out in Vogue in a dress with makeup on, provocatively dancing, and you're entertained by that, something is wrong with you. Full stop. Full freaking stop. I'm just disgusted with this culture. I really am. Like, it's gotten so dark and disgusting. It really is a culture war. It 1000% is a culture war. And Democrats hate when people on the right say that. They say, oh, you're just, using hyperbole, or you're just exaggerating. You're just creating a culture where that doesn't exist. If you think that a 6-year-old child going to drag shows and being the performer of drag shows and being paraded as the performer of these drag shows is not a culture war, something is wrong with you. I don't care if you're left, right, center, back, front. I don't care. If you can watch that and not feel uncomfortable and not feel like something is wrong with that, then something is wrong with you. Because this is not about being left, right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. This is about being a person with common sense who looks at something and says, that's not right. That's inappropriate. Why are we supporting that? What is wrong with you? The fact that people on the left, most people, because there are some who are, waking up, but most people on the left will look at that and will politicize that and say, oh, I'm going to support that child being paraded on stage at a drag show because that correlates with gender affirming care and trans rights and liberals and Democrats and Kamala Harris. Is all a link, all of it. Which is why in that video, you not only saw that kid being paraded around by his woke parents, but you also saw them at a rally for Kamala Harris and for Tim Walz. It all correlates. A vote for blue is a vote for this. That's what it comes down to. And full transparency, one of the biggest reasons why I woke up from being on the left and I said no longer will I ever support a leftist candidate is because of what I was seeing in regards to children. I saw what was happening in elementary schools and kindergarten, even in daycare, for crying out loud. I saw the indoctrination happening of children when it comes to the trans movement, and it made me sick to my stomach because you're using children as pawns for your political movement. And this correlates right with that. And seeing what was happening in schools and seeing parents outraged over what was in the libraries, that is actually what woke me up and said, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I'm not fully left, but I was leaning left, and now I'm done. If you care about kids, if you care about safety of children, I don't know how you can vote blue and sleep at night and not question your own morality. I'm sorry. How do you watch that? How do you watch that as a human being, as a responsible adult, and say, nothing wrong with that? Or if you disagree with it, how do you disagree with it and still vote blue, knowing that your vote is supporting that type of behavior? A vote for Kamala Harris is literally saying, I'm okay with children transitioning as young as 10, because Tim Walz believes in that. I'm okay with kids socially transitioning in schools without parents' consent, because that's what Tim Walz supports. And in case you're wondering what exactly I'm talking about, there literally is a law in Minnesota signed by none other than Tim Walz that supports the idea of parents being sued if they do not socially agree to transitioning their child. Let's read this article together. Imagine a teenage girl in Ohio who regularly visits her rather woke aunt in Minnesota. The aunt thinks that the teenage niece's parents aren't sufficiently affirming of the girl's desire to adopt a male identity. The parents know the devastating and irreversible harm puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones could cause their daughter, and so they're not about to consent to them. The aunt files a lawsuit in Minnesota to gain custody of the girl and start her on a regimen of the drugs. Now, the article goes on to say that normally a person cannot sue the parents of a child if they're in a different state because it's based on the laws of the state that the parents live in. That normally is the case. However, there is a loophole within this new law. As you can see here, if anyone, a parent, close relative, or even an unrelated adult seeks custody of a child for the purpose of obtaining gender-affirming healthcare, then that person can take that child to Minnesota, where state courts now have exclusive jurisdiction to hear the case. The courts will decide custody of the child and ultimately whether the child will be put on harmful puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones based on Minnesota law. It goes on to say, in other words, as soon as a teenage girl crosses the Minnesota state line with her aunt or to visit her aunt, Minnesota courts are now armed to strip custody away from the girl's caring parents in Ohio and award it to the aunt, who can immediately start the vulnerable child on dangerous transition drugs. And this is in Tim Walz's state of Minnesota. This is what he wants nationwide. Do you see why this is such a big issue and why this is so important? What's happening with that kid going to trans shows and being the entertainer and having woke parents and going to the Tim Walz rally, it all correlates with Tim Walz's ideology. Like, these things all correlate with each other. We've got to wake up. This is not just some random video that has nothing to do with what's happening. This video has everything to do with the left and where they are today, and why so many people like myself have woken up and said, never again would I lean left, because that party's cray. It's cray. Okay, they have jumped off the train, they have gone off the tracks, and there's no coming back. There's no coming back after that. I'm just sick into my stomach. I mean, I can only hope and pray that somebody sees that video and investigates those parents, but something tells me in today's world, those parents would be applauded. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next Kamala Harris rally, she brings up those parents and the kid. And it's like, look how amazing this is, while the crowd cheers. Children are under attack, 1000% by the left. They are an extremist party. I don't even recognize the Democrat Party anymore, because they weren't this bad 20 years ago. Like, it's gotten worse. It's gotten progressively worse. They're so woke, they can't even nap. It's crazy. It's like, it's insanity. All I can say is use your voice via your vote. That's all I can say to you, because that is the only answer right now. The only answer. God forbid Kamala Harris and Tim Walz become the next administration in this country. God forbid. God help the kids. God help women. God help mankind. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. What did you think of seeing that ad for Tim Walz and for Kamala Harris? Were you as disgusted as I was? I have a feeling you probably were. Let me know down below. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. Until next time, peace.